And we're live. Welcome in, ladies. Welcome in. Welcome in, everyone who is joining me live today. Welcome in. You guys just give me a second to put on my headsets here just so I can make sure that I'm audible for you guys. So welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. We have a very well-requested topic that we're going to be talking about today. So it's really something that has been on my mind, and in my conversations with women, it's just like, this is something that I need to start talking about today as the holidays are approaching. Okay, so welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. I hope you guys can hear me clearly. So if you're watching me from LinkedIn or you're watching me from Facebook, type Team Live. If you're seeing the replay, type Team Replay. Okay, so if this is the first time that you've ever seen me, or you've heard or seen a video of mine, or you've never attended a training of mine, my name is AB, and I am a life coach, and I help women who are overwhelmed, stressed out, burned out in the workplace, especially women in leadership. I help them have balance. And so one of the concerns every time I'm on a call with a woman who's stressed out, one of the concerns that they tell me is these conflicting priorities that they have, right? So you have XXX stuff to do at work, and then you come home to your second job, and now you have to take care of your kids, take care of your husband or your partner, and then you have no time for yourself, right? This pressure is times 3 during the holidays. And what's so interesting is that everybody else enjoys and benefits from the holidays except women. So they do all the work, but they don't enjoy anything. And I think that narrative needs to end. I think that as a woman, during the holidays, you should be able to enjoy the holidays. You shouldn't just go through the holidays so that everyone else can enjoy it except you. Because that's not right. That's not right at all. So we need to change that narrative. And that starts from today. Today, okay? So some of the things that I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to walk you through some of the tactics. I use this. I teach my clients to do this. You can use this to start your journey. Okay? And then I'm also going to I'm going to make an announcement where we're going to do this live. So I'm going to hold your hands and we're going to do this live. So I'm going to talk about that as well. Okay? So welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. I'm super, super happy to see you guys. I missed you, I've missed you. All right, let's get started. So first things first is, as the holidays are approaching, can you guys hear me okay? Okay. As the holidays are approaching, there are certain cues that tend to put us under pressure, especially women. Okay? And it's harder to be able to balance out your life when you're not aware of this certain cues, because they're going to program you. Okay? Now, part of the strategies that I teach women to use, they circumvent these cues to be able to really implement those changes in their lives. So if you're looking to get started with managing your responsibilities at work, your leadership responsibilities, and the caregiving that you have to do during the holidays, then it's important that you start to write this down. Okay? It's important that you write this down, because these are going to guide you into taking the steps that you need to achieve balance. Okay, so we're going to start with, first of all, what I call guiding principles. Okay, the guiding principles are related to the cues that I'm talking about. essentially, I'm going to give you 3 guiding principles that you can use as a benchmark for how you want to show up in your life during the holidays. So these guiding principles, you can use them at work. You can use them when you're dealing with your team. You can use them when you're dealing with your family members. These are the milestones that you're going to keep at the back of your mind whenever you get yourself into a situation where you can barely breathe. So whenever you get yourself into a situation where you're feeling so overwhelmed, these are the principles that will bring you out of that. When you remember them, it's going to help you come out of that situation. Okay? All right. So what is the first guiding principle? The first guiding principle that I tell women, especially during the holidays, is number 1, you are not responsible for everything. Okay? So write it down, ladies. Write it down. You are not responsible for everything. I'm actually just writing it down with you guys because I'm going to touch on this later. Okay? What do I mean when I say you are not responsible for everything? So I was having a conversation with someone and she was telling me, the things that normally, the way the holidays go for her and the things that she has to do. She has to do this. And I looked at the long list and I said, like, you have to do everything? Well, she's like, well, I usually do everything. And I'm like, this is a long list. Like, this is a long list. And then she goes, well, it's not like I have to do everything. It's just that I feel like I have to do everything. Okay? So first, there's a difference between you having to do everything and you feeling like you have to do everything. They're 2 different things. 2 different things. So the first guiding principle during the holidays is you are not responsible for everything. Now, if you are in the workplace and you manage a team, there's a difference between being responsible for a task and being accountable for it. Even at home, you're accountable to make sure that your children are fed. You're accountable to make sure that your home is clean. You're accountable for certain things in your home. I don't know what dynamics you have, but that doesn't mean that you are responsible for doing it. Does that make sense, ladies? Because I think sometimes we confuse responsibility and accountability and think they're the same thing, and they're not. They're not. Just like in the workplace, as a manager or an exec, you are accountable for your team and your department, but you are not responsible for doing every single thing that is required of that team and department. I want you to use that same mindset in your family, in your home as well. Okay? I'm going to go back to what you can do instead, but take that thought. The second one is normalizing the fact that you're going to disappoint people and it is okay. So some people are going to feel let down by your decision to actually start to prioritize your well-being during the holidays. It is okay. It is okay. Now, the thing and the challenge that comes with this is that oftentimes women are not okay with they being the source of someone feeling disappointed. The thing about the feeling of disappointment is that you cannot force someone to feel disappointed. People feel disappointed because of the way they feel about something. And so when you try to control that process for them by trying to do certain things like bending over backwards, people pleasing, you short circuit the process and it comes back to bite you. So understanding that and normalizing that it is okay. It is okay that some people are going to be disappointed. Some people are going to be let down because I'm not going to be able to show up the way I normally do. That would overextend myself. It is okay. So you are going to normalize that, start to normalize that this holiday. Okay? The third guiding principle. My non-negotiables are not negotiable. What do I mean by that? So oftentimes when I'm working with women, I tell them that self-care is less about your nails, your hair, your makeup, going to the spa, doing exercise, the things that we consider self-care. Those are elements of it. But when we say someone lives a self-care driven life, it's a mindset. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of being. It's a way of acting. Those things that I talked about, getting your nails done, getting a massage, they're just like byproducts, but they're not the main thing. When you're the kind of person that lives a self-care driven life, it becomes a non-negotiable for you. And so when it comes to times like the holidays, which are usually so busy and everything, your non-negotiables are not negotiable. Think of it this way. What is something that is a value for you? What is something that you feel so strongly about that you're just like, never, ever, ever, not in a million years, am I ever going to do this thing, right? The way that you feel strongly about that thing, that's how people who live a self-care driven lifestyle feel about self-care. So if you're struggling with prioritizing and having that balance, it just means you haven't become that person yet. And that's fine. That's why I'm here. That's the job of that's my job, right? To help you get there. But to start the process is that you're going to have to define certain things for you that you want to be able to keep you in a balanced state and make them non-negotiable. This means that you don't have conversations with people about these things. And I need to clarify that, because what I'm seeing is that, in the self-care, self-love community, there's this no is a complete answer. I don't have to explain myself to you. I don't have to do anything, which is true. But there's a way that information is communicated that recently I've actually been very careful when I mention things related to self-care, because I know how human beings, I've come to understand how, and I'm learning every day too as well. I'm learning how human beings operate. I'm learning how human psychology operates. I'm learning how women operate in certain circumstances. I'm also learning the nuances in circumstances that women find themselves. So when I say make your non-negotiables are not negotiable, that decision has to come to you from you first. And then when you get to circumstances, because you know and own it, there's a way that it's communicated to the people around you without actually it being disrespectful, rude, cold, uncaring. Now, some people would feel that way because they choose to see that, but there's a way that you carry yourself with empathy without actually breaking and destroying relationships that don't need to be destroyed by that. There's some that need to go. That's fine. So I feel like I have to be, when I'm telling you guys these things, because I've seen it happen in real life, it's important that I communicate these nuances to you guys so that you have the wisdom to to be able to implement those boundaries. Okay, so this third point, this one that I said your non-negotiables are not negotiable, I feel like I need to kind of break that down further. So we're gonna pack that there. Let me talk about what you can start to do now during the holidays, knowing that you have these guiding principles. Okay, then when I get to the third one, we'll flesh it out a little bit more. So the first one I said is, you are not responsible for everything, okay? So if you're in a state where you're looking to improve, or you want to have more time, you want to spend more time with your children, with your husband, you want to have more energy to do the things that you've always wanted to do, and now is the time to do them, now that things are waning down. In order for you to be able to get that view and get that thing that you really want, when you understand that you're not responsible for everything, it would free up your energy and space. So what does this look like for the typical woman? So let's say, for example, you have a corporate job, you're a manager and everything, and then you go home, maybe you have like 2 or 3 kids, they're going to be home for the holidays, so they have to eat, the house has to be clean. You have like a parents that you need to take care of. I'm just giving you guys like the worst case. You have parents you have to take care of. Somewhere, somehow, there are things that require your energy and attention. So when I say that you are not responsible for everything, what you need to take from this is that, yes, these things require my energy and time, but that doesn't mean I have to be the one to do it. That doesn't mean I have to be the one to use my hands and my feet to get it done. And oftentimes when I tell women this, or when I bring this perspective up, women are like, what do you mean, AB? I'm like, okay. So let's say, for example, the scenario that I just gave. Your children have to eat, right? The house needs to be clean. You don't have to be the one going into the kitchen morning, afternoon, night, cooking dinner, lunch, and breakfast every day. You can actually outsource that as much as you can. There are options where you can actually have someone cater that food for the holidays. There are actually deals right now where private chefs, and they're not expensive. Before I even continue what I'm saying, women are going to say, but they're not expensive. There are actually options where they're not as expensive as you think. They may require you to spend a couple of dollars or hundreds of dollars for like meals, but when you compare the cost that it would take you to go to the kitchen morning, afternoon, night and prepare the food, why would you want to spend that money? Why not? Right? You can have your kids help you if they're old enough to cook. You can have your husband or your partner help you if they know how to cook. You can have family members help you, right? So just because you're accountable for something doesn't mean you actually have to be the one to do it. It's just the same thing at work. You are maybe accountable for your team's KPIs, but this is a time where you start brainstorming ways that you can actually start to delegate so that other people can help, okay? And start to outsource. So whenever you're noticing that you're feeling overwhelmed for something, that's the gauge that you are not responsible for everything. So instead of going into complaint mode, why do I have to do this? Why is it really me? Start to think of what can I do to start to delegate this out, outsource this out so that I don't have to do it. Another common one is the cleaning. I have actually checked this, right? There's so many cleaning companies out there that don't charge an arm and a leg. They can come in, clean your home for a week, per week. They can come in, clean the home for a number of days. There are deals now. This is a time, and you can make those contracts with them. They can come in once a week, clean the whole house. You don't have to be the one to do it. You don't have to be the one to do it. So I want you guys to start thinking from that perspective. I'm not responsible for everything. Yes, you may be accountable because you like a clean house, but that doesn't mean you have to go pick up a vacuum cleaner or a mop and clean the house. You're better off using your energy to do something that you really want to do, unless you love cleaning. And my dear, please go ahead. Okay, so these are just some common examples that I hear women talk about, and some of the things that you can actually start to do. So this is where you start to brainstorm, just to kind of recap, what are some of the things that I have to do and the things that I can delegate and outsource so that I can free up my energy and time. Okay, the second one was, it is okay, right? I'm just writing it down, guys. It is okay to disappoint people. Let's talk a little bit about this one, because this one is a little bit is more prevalent as well, and it's hidden. So oftentimes what usually happens is that because people get used to we doing things for them, so they have these expectations that, oh, during the holidays Jenna is going to cook this meal, is going to invite everyone, she's going to make a feast, she's going to get the gifts and stuff like that. And so when you come in this year, you're like, I'm not doing that anymore, you're going to have pushbacks. What do you mean by that? What do you mean? You always do this. Come on, no turkey. Come on, no chicken and stuff like that. And people are going to feel disappointed. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Like I have a family member who is usually the one, like she's such a great cook, and she's usually the one that, hosts and stuff like that. And this year she can, and yeah, I felt disappointed, because I really wanted to eat her delicious food, but I'm allowed to feel disappointed, and she's allowed to say no. We're allowed to feel the way that we feel. So prepare your mind for that. Whether it's your family members, your children. I know this one is really hard for women, but prepare your mind that it is okay to disappoint people. Some people are going to be disappointed by your decision, but within the grand scheme of things, your boundaries are a gift to everyone around you. People will love you more eventually when they get used to you having boundaries. Okay? So what are some of the roadblocks you can encounter with this? So when you notice that you're starting to feel guilty because people are either guilt tripping you or you're doing it yourself, they're telling you that, oh, you're supposed to be doing this, you're supposed to be doing that. Allow yourself to feel guilty. It's a normal emotion. Then remember that, hey, it is okay for me to disappoint people. Remember at the end of the day that the goal of this is so that you can feel at peace, you can feel good about enjoying the holidays without actually having to worry about carrying on weight that you do not want to. Okay? So it is okay. And one of the things that could come up, just to recap, is you feeling guilty or people trying to make you feel guilty for not performing the way that they expect you to. And also this happens at work as well. It is perfectly okay. Let them feel disappointed. Let them feel annoyed. Let them push back. They're just having a normal human reaction. So let that happen. Don't try to interrupt the process by, trying to make them feel better or trying to then people please and do the thing. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let the process happen and everything else will reset itself. Okay? The third thing, before I move on to the third thing, for the second thing, what can help with the guilt that you're going to feel, because I know you're going to feel guilty, I've been there, is what can help is understanding that, first of all, it is perfectly human to feel guilty because you're not showing up the way you've normally shown up. Number two, you've been conditioned to feel that guilt because you've been doing this thing for a long time now. So it is normalizing that, okay, at this moment I feel guilty. However, I know that I'm doing what's best for me long term. So you're going to reframe your thoughts so that they align with where you're going. It is okay, I feel guilty in this moment, but I know that I'm doing the best for my well-being long term. And so you continue to repeat that statement until it starts to feel true. Okay? All right. The third one is my non-negotiables are not negotiable. So earlier during this training, I talked about having non-negotiables. That's the first step, of course. Excuse me, you guys. Having non-negotiable and then setting them as not negotiable. Two things I want to bring up here. I want to talk a little bit about, sorry, I'm just having it was like, you know how you want to sneeze, but it refuses to come out. So you're like, just come out already. So that's actually what's going on here. It's I can feel it, but it's just not coming out. Okay. Anyways, so part of this guiding principle is the first two parts. Number one is having a set of things that you want to make as non-negotiables regarding your well-being. So this is what I call self-care non-negotiables. It could be across anything. It could be the fact that you choosing not to overextend yourself during this holiday, you choosing to make sure that you're working out so that you can stay fit, you choosing to eat properly during the holidays so that you can feel good about yourself and not have to feel guilty about gaining extra pounds where you do not want to, right? So there's certain things that can come up for you. Create a list. I usually say 3 to 5, no more than that, because if you do that, then it just becomes wishful thinking, okay? So create a list of certain things that are going to be non-negotiable for you in your home and also at work as well, and make them not negotiable, okay? The second part to doing this is how you actually do this. So when you have something that is non-negotiable for you, you don't have to explain it to another person. This doesn't mean that when somebody asks you, why are you not doing that thing? You're like, I'm not telling you. It's none of your business. Is it your problem? Leave me alone. Do you see how I'm acting? That doesn't mean you behave that way. That's the point I wanted to make when I talked about this. That doesn't mean you become across as rude. You have to be cold or rude or cut people off or cut people out when you make these decisions. When you are clear on something, you don't have to close your heart to people. They automatically feel that thing when they step into your field. So if you notice that you're finding that you're getting annoyed because people are asking you, why is this a non-negotiable for you? Why are you not doing this thing? Why are you not doing that thing? Ask yourself, am I actually showing up with integrity with myself? Like, am I actually embodying this thing? Because if you've embodied something, first of all, you will not be annoyed if people don't like you doing that. It's part of you. So you're just going to be like, okay, sure, right? You'll be indifferent. So if you notice that you're getting upset, that's a signal that you actually don't believe that it's a non-negotiable for you. And usually when we don't believe that, we start to act out in annoyance and aggression towards others. Okay? You guys give me a second here. Just come out already. I love how these things usually come up when I'm doing live. I don't know. Okay. So back to the point of your non-negotiables. 2 things to keep in mind to recap. Number 1, make a list of 3 to 5 things that are going to be considered self-care non-negotiables for you during the holidays. Could be across the way you eat, the way you work out, the way you interact with people, whatever that is, no more than 3 to 5. Number 2, own them. Own them without actually being disrespectful or condescending or cold to other people. Another part to owning your non-negotiables is understanding that people are allowed to react and ask questions. It's a normal human response. And also because during the holidays, this is a season of love. This is a season of sharing. This is a season of coming together. This is a season of building and just spending time with your family. So you want to keep your energy open. You want to keep your energy clear. Women misunderstand keeping your energy open and people pleasing. They think that if your energy is open, that means you have to say yes to every request. No. If your energy is open, you're open to connecting with people. And so when you have a non-negotiable that someone is hitting over, so they're trying to, make you or ask you questions why you have this non-negotiable, it just simply means, oh, that doesn't just work for me, right? Oh, that doesn't work for me during the holidays. I usually don't do that. That doesn't work for me. Why? Because that just doesn't work for me. It doesn't make me feel good, right? So the way I answered, it's none of your business. Why are you asking me what's your problem? I'm not telling you. No is a complete answer, right? Energy like that I don't encourage that because you can destroy relationships that should not be destroyed. Okay? I know there's a lot and I used to be that way, but I'm learning over the years that as we're doing this work, we also have to be wise about the way we go about it. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're building those strong connections around us, the people that love us, that really want to be around us, and the people that don't, they're stepping aside. That's what we want, right? We don't want to just chase everybody away and then we're all alone and then we're complaining and all of that stuff, right? So remember that humans are social creatures. People will act out the way they feel, right? But that doesn't mean that you have to bend over backward, nor be rude and cold and don't ask me, don't tell me what to do. I'm not telling you anything. No is a complete answer. All right. The other thing too is in the workplace, some of these things that the self-care gurus tell you guys, you have to be careful the way you apply them in the workplace. If your manager is asking you to do something, you cannot just say no. And he says why. You're like, no is a complete answer. That's not appropriate. It's not appropriate. So be careful, you guys, be careful. Instead, what you can do is that you own it, that this doesn't feel right. And when they come to you, you acknowledge that they're there and you say, I understand you. I see where you're going. However, this is how I feel about this certain thing. When you respond from that perspective where I acknowledge you, I hear you, this is the way I feel about that thing, it's a lot easier for people to accept your stance in the workplace especially, and even at home too. And what you notice is if you do stuff, if you approach it like that where you're actually considerate of the other person, then you're going to get less pushbacks. And people will be like, okay, fine. Or people will be like, okay, no worries. And they'll move on. All right. I've been wanting to do a video on this. I just haven't had the time. You guys, I have to be somewhere soon. So, but this is the third one. Have a list of non-negotiables and make them not negotiable. And when you're doing it, do it with love. It's the holiday season. Do it with love. Do it with kindness. Not niceness. Kindness. There's a difference. Kindness is with an open heart. You're not annoyed, you're not irritated, you're not, feeling any sort of way that doesn't feel good to you. You're just being you. You're just telling the other person, this is how I feel. This is what makes me feel good. It's not about you. It's not about anything. It's just the way that I feel. Okay? All right. So those were the 3 things I wanted to come tell you guys. There are a bit more. We're going to actually flesh this out. So I'm planning a self-care, an end of year self-care workshop for you guys. So we're going to workshop all of this stuff that I'm talking about where we'll set the intention for next year. So it's coming up by the end of the month. So watch out for the invites. And it's really for you to come in there ready to begin your journey to start the new year from a self-care driven perspective. Okay, see, I've got you guys covered. I'm not going to leave you just like that and enter the new year with nothing. I've got you covered. Okay? So watch out for the invites. But other than that, ladies, I do have to run. I'm just checking here just to make sure time is good. I do have to run. I have a dancing class, so I don't want to be late for that. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. But other than that, ladies, I will see you when next I see you.